Southwest Florida is one of the fastest growing regions in the country, but it's also where many out-of-state buyers end up making costly mistakes. After over 10 years in real estate in this market, I'm going to walk you through the 3 areas people move to the most and what surprises them once they get there. So let's dive in. Before we jump into these areas, I want you to get this first. A lot of people move here based on price and photos, and I know that the photos look amazing. You pull up a Canal home with a pool and a dock. It's like half the price of what you're used to, and you're already thinking about wiring the money, right? But those photos don't show where the home actually sits, what insurance is going to cost you, what your commute looks like. That gap between what you see online and what it's like in real life, that's what this video is about. So Southwest Florida is set up a little different. You've got Cape Coral, which is the second largest city by area in the state, and is separated from everything east of it by a river. Then you got Lehigh Acres, which looks like the obvious budget. That's where I see a lot of buyers get hurt the most. We'll get into that, just stay with me. Now, Fort Myers is right in the middle, tying everything together. On a map, these places look close. In real life, they feel different. And Cape Coral is where most people start, so we'll start there too. Imagine you're on the dock behind your house, coffee in hand, just watching a boat go by at 7 in the morning. That's a normal day in Cape Coral, and it's real. The Canal lifestyle here is just how people live. Cape Coral is my main market, and yeah, I really enjoy it here. The appeal is legit. You've got more navigable waterways here than anywhere else, and the waterfront homes, compared to somewhere like Naples, feel almost unfair. There's new construction everywhere, pool homes, and a lot of growth is happening right now too. New retail, new restaurants, and a full waterfront revitalization along Cape Coral Parkway. The city's changing a lot, but most of Cape Coral sits in a special flood hazard area. That's not me saying it, that's FEMA, especially after Hurricane Ian in 2022. And Ian wasn't small. It wiped out a lot of homes and changed how insurance works across this whole area. So in real life, flood insurance isn't something just to skip. A lot of properties require it. And when you stack that with homeowners insurance, which has gone up a lot since Ian, your monthly cost can catch you off guard. If you're looking at a Gulf Access Canal home, especially, that insurance is going to reflect that risk. Get quotes early on in the buying process. And then there's the commute. Cape Coral is basically an island. Not technically, but that's just how it works. The Caloosahatchee River runs along the south and southeast side, and then you've got 2 main bridges to get across. So when you look at a map and it feels close to Fort Myers or I-75, just know all that traffic is going through those crossings. And during peak season, November through April, that drive can turn into a headache pretty fast. There is a bridge expansion coming, but construction doesn't start until 2028. If you're commuting every day, go drive those bridges at rush hour before you pick a neighborhood. I mean that, actually, go do it. And when we get into North Fort Myers and some of the downtown pockets, that's where the gap between what you see online and what it feels like hits the hardest. Stay with me. Now, it's not just flood insurance either. Other costs throw people off, like infrastructure assessments on certain homes, HOA fees, and CDD fees, all stocking on top of your mortgage. A lot of out-of-state buyers look at the purchase price and stop there. Your true monthly cost here has more moving parts than most markets. The lifestyle is also important. Cape Coral is spread out, very car dependent, and it runs on a seasonal rhythm. In the winter, it's busy. In the off-season, it slows down a lot. If you're expecting walkability, nightlife, that kind of energy all year, this isn't that. At least not yet. But for boaters, retirees, and remote workers who want waterfront living at a price that still makes sense, this is one of the best places in the country. The Canal lifestyle is real. The value compared to other waterfront markets is real. And with everything being built right now, it's a strong long-term play. But if you're commuting every day or you want activity right outside your door, you've got to factor that in. Put the flood zone, get your insurance quotes. Drive those bridges at rush hour before you fall in love with a listing. Now, if the water lifestyle sounds great, but the price still feels a little high, there's another area a lot of people start looking at. It looks like the perfect solution right up until you actually move there. And if you're watching from out of state, trying to figure out which of these areas make sense for you, I work with relocators moving into Southwest Florida every day. I can help break down what fits your lifestyle and your budget before you even book a flight. My contact's info in the description. Just reach out. Now, let's move into Lehigh Acres. Here's the deal with Lehigh Acres. It's one of those areas a lot of people move to, and on the surface, it seems like an easy choice. But once you look a bit closer, there are a few things that tend to catch people by surprise. It's one of the most affordable entry points in the whole market. The lots are bigger, there's less HOA presence, and you've got space for a truck or equipment without dealing with a lot of restrictions you see closer to the coast. On paper, it checks a lot of boxes, and for the right person, it works. But the thing people don't fully feel until they're actually living there is the commute. Lehigh is east, and most everything else like jobs, shopping, entertainment, the beaches, it's west. And because there are only a few ways to get there, all that traffic kind of funnels in. The main road into Fort Myers gets heavy. A drive that looks fine on Google Maps at noon can easily double during rush hour. If you work from home and you're just driving for errands, you might not feel it much. But if you're commuting into Fort Myers every day, go drive that route at peak times before you buy. Seriously, do it. And it's not just the commute. Lehigh has been growing, but the infrastructure hasn't fully caught up yet. There are limited local jobs, limited shopping, and for anything more specialized, especially healthcare, you're heading into Fort Myers. That's just how it is. And a lot of people assume that because it's inland, flood risk just disappears. It doesn't. There are still special flood hazard areas out there, and buyers get surprised when they expect inland to mean lower insurance. So the same thing here, check the flood zone and get your quotes early on. At its core, Lehigh is more rural, and for the right person, that's the whole point. More space, fewer rules, quieter days. If you run a business and you need land for space for equipment, Lehigh gives you flexibility that Cape Coral and lots of Fort Myers just doesn't. But if you want nightlife, quick access to things, or an easy drive to the beach, it can start to feel a little isolated. And you want to know that before you buy. So remote workers, buyers focused on budget who want more space, people in trades or construction, Lehigh can make a lot of sense. For everyone else, test that commute before the price makes the decision feel easy. So the third area, this is where I see the biggest gap between what people expect and what they actually find. Of all three areas in this video, this one has the biggest gap between how it looks online and how it actually feels when you get there. And yeah, that gap is what gets people. Now, the appeal is real. North Fort Myers and the downtown pockets put you close to pretty much everything. The River District, the Caloosahatchee, the beaches, I-75, the airport, and colleges. The River District is the most walkable part of the area. You've got brick streets, historic buildings, art walk, music walk, and a lot of good restaurants. You can jump on I-75 and head north to Tampa or south to Naples without dealing with the bridge traffic Cape Coral has every day. So for some buyers, that central location is the whole reason they land here. But this is also where you see some of the highest flood exposure in the region, and that's the part you don't see in photos. Being close to the river is why people love it, and it's also why flood risk is very real, not just during hurricane. Even summer rain can flood streets in certain downtown pockets. That's not rare, that's just part of living here. Go see the area after heavy rain. Look at the streets, check the FEMA maps and the property history before you get attached to a house. Another thing that surprises people is how fast things can change from one block to the next. The River District has a lot of charm. Some parts look great, but that polished look doesn't always carry over into the surrounding streets. You turn a corner and it feels different. Older buildings, less updated, a little more industrial. A lot of out-of-state buyers fall in love with photos of the aesthetically pleasing spots, then show up and realize what's a couple of minutes away. You have to check out the neighborhood. Don't just drive through the aesthetically pleasing parts. And this goes with any area. And with higher flood exposure comes higher insurance. A lot of properties require flood insurance, and costs have gone up since Ian.
Insurance is a big topic across all of Southwest Florida right now.
But in these riverfront and downtown areas, you feel it even more. And some of these neighborhoods have older infrastructure, so you're looking at maintenance and upkeep that newer construction buyers might not be used to. That's something you want to factor in before you make an offer. But if you want something newer and more predictable, or you're relocating and not fully sure what flood exposure looks like day to day, there are probably better fits. See it in the rain before you fall in love with it. Each one has real appeal, and each one has the same underlying trap. What looks obvious on a screen doesn't always match what it's like to actually live there. Now, if you're relocating to Southwest Florida and want a straight answer on which area fits your situation, email me at german@swflhouses.com today, and I'll break it down based on how you live. And if you want to get a better understanding of the Southwest Florida real estate market, click on this video right here. That's the one to watch. I'll see you there.